Good evening, viewers. So, well, one of our parents had asked a question from us asking her child could not focus on studies. So, what should be done? So, well, I'm going to answer this question in my life today. So, this happens with all of us. Even as adults, we sometimes lose focus, but focus is everything. So, 20% of the focus can bring about 80% of the results, which is a very, very important thing to be achieved. So, when the task given is not fun, they get bored and they quickly shift their attention to something more interesting. So, unlike adults, we tend to complete the task given to us, whether we like it or not. But children, they don't follow that. They are not able to follow the system. So, there are few reasons. Let's understand why they tend to lose focus in studies. So, sometimes they're not interested and in the task given to them. That is the major reason. If they find it interesting, they tend to focus on that task. And sometimes, yes, being interested or not interested doesn't matter, but then sometimes they can't, they're very fidgety, they can't sit at one place with complete focus, so they are fidgety. That's how children are, we all know that. Then there's a trail of thoughts coming by. We start one task and we see suddenly, a next thought comes by, and we are not able to focus. We tend to go jump onto the other task. So, that trail of thoughts they cannot manage. That is one thing to be taught to children. Yes, that is also important. Then there are many distractions around in the room. That is also one more thing to be managed, that we need to teach our children to not get distracted. Again, we need to make things more interesting for them, then they will not get distracted. That is also one more thing. And they seem to be dreaming all the time, daydreaming also. So that is also one more thing that can be the reason to it. And yes, they're not organized also. So, as adults, also we are not organized sometimes. But then, this is something which can be the reason of they're not focusing on what they should be focusing more on. And we tend to give a lot of instructions, and it becomes difficult for children sometimes to follow the instructions. That is also one more reason. And yes, it happens with adults also. And I've seen some corporates, facing this problem with their employees as well. So focus is one thing that should be there, but if it is not there, it can create a lot of problems. So let's start with a very small thing, like when they are small. See, actually all this programming and training happens at a very early stage, when they are small, when children are small. So what happens is, like, listening, when children tend to listen, what happens? uh, a very newborn child, we see sounds falling onto their ears. And yes, uh, when we call their name, suddenly we see them turning their heads towards the sound, source of sound. So listening starts. So when we are talking to them, we see they start paying attention, they listen to us for a while, and then we see again they get fidgety. So that is their attention span developing in place. And then when they pay attention, they're able to concentrate. Only when they concentrate, they understand the content. And when they understand, they can also express themselves. Only when they express themselves, we come to know that they have understood. And yes, they are confident enough. So we say these children are smart when we see them expressing their thoughts. And the confidence is, visible in the child when they express themselves. So confidence that we see after so many years, that is an outcome of they're focusing and concentrating only. It's very important. And mind you, it's not a one day job. We really need to sit down and help our children, because the kind of environment that they are growing up now is not conducive to learning. So we need to create an environment now which is conducive to learning. That's very important. Now, First of all, the environment that I'm talking about, we need to have an environment which is distraction free. Distraction free, when I say, the gadgets, they they will reduce the attention span to minimum. So if we could maintain an environment which is gadget free, where the gadgets are sparingly used, and or they are not used. So gadgets should be minimum, because if a child is more into the gadgets, then this problem is going to be very, very visible. It's going to be difficult on a part to manage our children in that manner. Then there should be nobody playing around, something interesting happening along with that. Definitely they will not be able to focus. We need to take care that no distractions are around. The toys, that suppose they are interested in some toys, they should not be lying close by. So the environment that we are sitting in, that should be distraction free. Then comes three things that we can mention here is, first of all, the curiosity. See, the homework is not very interesting. So sometimes, before starting the homework, only children tell us, we need to do this, this, and this is going to happen, and then, this is what it is. So they already know the outcome of it. So if we could generate some curiosity, or we could change the outcome or make it more interesting. So curiosity, or some questions, or some knowledge part, if we could raise, which would make them more interested in doing that task. That is very, very important. So we need to set that context so that our children look forward to doing that activity, not the same boring task that they do day in and day out. Even if I am asked to do one particular job every day, after every short interval of time, I will get bored. And when we get bored, we start losing interest, and we don't focus. We stop focusing also. So it's just, as a matter of fact, it goes into our subconscious. We're just doing it just for the heck of doing it. But yes, to be interested, we need to set that context. Then only they'll be interested. Then comes the second part of it. Now, the anticipation, while they are doing it, we need to understand the attention span. So for how long can my sit at one point of time, how long is able to pay attention to. So we need to fit in the task into that attention spans, which is very, very important. Now suppose my child has an attention span of only 5 minutes. It's all right, we don't have to feel bad about it. But yes, we need to fit in all the tasks in that attention span. So maybe after every 5 minutes, I can ask, are you interested in? Are you liking it? Or shall we do something in between? Shall we clap our hands? Shall we just go out and take a stroll? Or shall we just color for a while? Just change that monotony. Just do something else in between, so that when you fit in the attention spans, you understand the attention span of the child, it's easier for child to focus. So you've given them a break in between, and now they are again ready to take it forward. That's what. Then comes the time bound. I mean, if you prolong that activity for a very, very long time, definitely they will not like it, because you've taken away their play time also. So they will never like it. So this is very, very important. You need to take care that the task given to them is going to be finished quickly. I mean, if the attention span is about 5 minutes, they should be able to finish it in about 20 to 25 minutes only, taking 5, 6 breaks also. Don't worry about that. So yes, we can expect our children to focus more thereafter. Slowly, you'll see the attention span stretching to maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then till 40 to 45 minutes. If it is done, that's more than enough. Then there's no ending, that just goes on and on. That goes. Then comes, what all activities can be done to make them focus more, uh, enjoy the activities. So, well, as adults, we know a lot of activities. So there are a lot of thinking games. We had puzzles in our times. Puzzles still exist. So some crossword puzzles, some jigsaw puzzles, or card games, memory games. They're very very interesting. I mean, a very you can display about 15 to 20 objects in front of them, and just ask them to close their eyes, and it's if you do any job in a game format, they would just love it. Just don't name it as studying, and they would just enjoy it. You have to add that interesting factor to their lives. So well, memory games work wonders, they really enjoy that. Even crossword puzzles, initially they are not very interested in, but over a period of time they start getting interested and they really enjoy that. Puzzles are really interesting. And jigsaw puzzles is you can start with about 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 10 pieces puzzles, and then carry it forward till 50 pieces or whatever, and you'll be surprised how effortlessly they're able to do it once they get interested in doing that. That is what. And there are a lot of games like rhythm games that you can play, or something like you play some actions in front of the child, like at one, when I say one you will do this action, when I say two you will do the other action, when I say three do the other action. That is also a game of concentration, just love to do it. Then there are games in books sometimes. So books may not always be presented as something as pressure in front of them. So some books have beautiful puzzles, like find what is wrong in this picture. They just love doing it. So instead of we telling them, they try to find it out. And in our times we used to have games like aap kitne buddhiman hai, so spot the difference. So it's very interesting. You have to find out about 10 differences in the two pictures. So it's very interesting. Then sequencing activities, like you follow a recipe, you give a sequence of events need to be followed. First this, second this, third this, we do this first, second. So recipes are the best ways to do sequencing development in them. And then setting the table in the alphabetical order, they just love to do it. You ask them that we'll set the dining table together. That is also very very interesting. Then there are something like repetition of sounds, the rhythm, like I said, like something like this. So these are general things. Even when you have to give them a break of 5-10 minutes, this can be done with them very easily, and they just love doing it. So something like we need to understand their ways of learning also, what they are more interested in. So yes, that interest factor has to be maintained for them to be focusing more on studies and everything. Then we can give them something like tongue twisters also. uh, we can just find it out on, we just google it if we want to. And Betty bought a bit of butter, but the bit of butter was a bit bitter. So Betty bought another bit of butter. So they really need to focus to be able to speak that. So something like tutor who tooted a toot taught two young tutors to toot. Said the toot to the tutor, "Is it harder to toot or to tutor two tutors to toot?" So it's very interesting. What is going to happen? They really need to focus to be able to speak that. So, well, this is also one more way of uh, building focus in our children. And plus, there are beautiful drawings also. There is something called mandala drawings, which help you. They're just geometrical shapes. We can just make 7 circles and start drawing some geometrical shapes. And it is so minutely, intricately done. Start coloring that. It takes a lot of effort. You really need to focus hard to, be able to do that kind of a drawing. We need to develop a routine for them. I mean, they go out, uh, play in the parks, which is somehow missing nowadays. It's very very important. Playing is also a very important part in developing focus. They look forward to that play, and yes, they're able to focus quickly. You tell them you want to go to play, and yes, it's bribing, I'm telling you, but then yes, it's very good for them. They just look forward to that time. Then fixing a routine, at this point of time we will be doing this is our nap time, this is our play time. Routine also matters, it develops focus in their life. So automatically when that time starts and they know that we have to do this and this now, so you don't have to go on telling them all the time. Yes, they know how to do it. That's very important. Then gadgets habit, we I just happen to say that gadgets should not be there, but it's not easy to take away all the gadgets from the life. So we need to develop some alternative habits which they are interested in. Reading as a habit, if we could develop that habit in our children, because readers are leaders, but it will not happen in a day. So again, we need to read to them first to be able for them, if we expect them to be reading over a period of time. That's very, very important. Children are like little monkeys. What we do, they just follow. They just love to follow us. Plus, we need to create a resource center kind of a place in our house so that we see them, they are interested. So like we have a kitchen in the house. When we are hungry, we go to that place to have food. Where we have a toilet, we have a dining room, we have a living room. So we have different places for different works to be done at our place. Similarly, we should have a resource center kind of a place where we feel mentally hungry. Whenever we feel mentally hungry, we go to that place and we just nourish ourselves. We just feed our brains over there. So one place for that, where they can look forward to go and just do that activity. Channelizing their minds is very important. If they are not able to focus, probably we have not been able to channelize our children in the right manner. That's very, very important. And plus the kind of food that we give, that is also very, very important. So greens can be added to their lives, the kind of healthy food. Green is very important because again, it's the lifeline of humans, we cannot ignore that. Green food is good for the brain development. And yes, we can break a difficult task into divide a bigger task into smaller tasks. So suppose they've got a long homework or a long task has to be completed. So if divided into some small tasks, and after every small task they take a break, it's not going to be a burden on their minds, and yes, they would love to do it. So the most important thing is the what attention span they have, how long they can sit and focus. If we honor that, they would definitely love to focus and concentrate and continue with what we tell them to do that. And then something like if we are aware of what they love to do, like suppose out of all the tasks, like there are so many intelligences we have talked about, so many kind multiple intelligences in so many sessions of ours. If you could just find out what your child is interested in, if you could just allow your child to focus on that, that will make a lot of difference. Like suppose when we ask them to take a break, so if my child is interested in coloring, I can ask the child to color. Plus clay modeling. Maybe my child is just attend she just wants to listen to music. So if I could provide that, allow him to listen to music at that point of time. Well, gadgets, consciously we are not going to allow them to go to gadgets. That's very, very important. We need to have that kind of control also. That's important. Everything cannot be given, because gadgets, suddenly their attention span would drop. If they have started focusing and concentrating, if they go to the gadgets in between, that's not going to happen. So something that they are very, very interested, if that is provided, they would just love to be there. And yes, you know rewarding them, that's the most important thing that parents can do. When our child has been able to accomplish a given task, there's nothing like rewarding them at the right time. That's very, very important. So yes, we, even as adults, we look forward to rewards. So if we could reward our children when they have accomplished something, it's like an achievement. They would just love to, and they look forward to that. So appreciation and acknowledgement, this takes us forward in our lives also. And yes, I hope I've talked enough about focus and concentration. And still, if you have any doubts, you can get back to us. We are all available at the Next Gen Parenting. We are just a call away, and you can get back to us. Thank you.